2, 1, go!
Alright, apologies, we were having some technical difficulties and the mic wasn't working. However, we have the first day of regionals for Varsity Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Fortis AG Sports. Our first match today is going to be M3 Assassin versus Master of Characters, I believe it is. Yes, it is. Master of Characters going to be going for an M3, going to be going K-Rool. In the first match of regionals today. K-Rool, heavy character, very slow, but has a lot of power behind his attack and has a lot of survivability on top of it. Torn, however, is a fairly well-rounded character with some interesting mechanics at her disposal. Most notably is going to be that Fireball, which stuns, and the unique pin special move. That is her side special, and it will essentially put a pin in the ground, as we can see here, with numerous follow-ups, including that reverse kick. There are several different forms of kick. She can feint it, so she can cancel out, and she can only hit with the pin portion of it. And she only goes in that stance if she hits the ground. So when used in the air, it can be used as a good long-range kill option if very specific. Here, both players roughly even. Master of Characters does have a percent. M3 Assassin does have a percent deficit going into the second stock. However, because K-Rool is so heavy, it's not as large of a deficit as maybe anticipated, and as well, K-Rool has the ability to make up that deficit very, very quickly thanks to his very high damage output. Just misses the down smash. The dash attack whips gets punished by M3's own dash attack. Uses the crown to prevent him from getting off ledge. Intercepts the ledge get up with a forward air. Attempts to ledge trap, however, gets flipped by the up special. That crown's going to eat through the projectile. That fireball from Corrin is going to be able to stun the opponent in place. And because the projectile is somewhat unique and has a melee follow-up, you can potentially use that for kill confirms, or a reverse, a kick from the pin is going to be enough to kill. M3 tries reading a panic get up, however, is still able to get it as an air dodge for Master of Characters, going to lead to an SD. Both characters now on their last stock. M3 using the armor. That's another one of K-Rool's specific mechanics. His golden belly can absorb hits without flinching him. It's different from regular characters who have armor because it is a limited resource. However, it is still present on a lot of his moves, like that up air and that neutral air and that dash attack. And it's still going to be a very useful mechanic which can get him out of a lot of tough situations. It's a huge percent lead. Master of Characters at 90, M3 only at 28. However, that can steady it up relatively easily. Corrin doesn't deal especially high damage. However, K-Rool as a character is very, very easy to combo and very easy to prevent from landing. If M3 gets above Master of Characters, is going to have a very hard time getting back to stage. Manages it though, and now is using his zoning pistol, trying to use his projectiles to prevent Master of Characters from approaching, and his counter catches it. Corrin has a counter move which will essentially parry an opponent's attack and retaliate with an attack that scales depending on the damage of the attack that was parried. And Corrin's is also unique in that it sends upwards, meaning that regardless of stage positioning, it's always going to kill relatively early. And as we can see here, coupled out with a pretty good multiplier on the damage, and that is going to be the very first game going to Master of Characters. Neither player was particularly big on edge guarding the other. M3 Assassin attempted to, or at the very least attempted to get ledge to sort of space himself for ledge trapping. However, because he got clipped, he didn't attempt that for the rest of the set. K-Rool is a character with a good recovery on paper, and it can be difficult to edge guard if you don't know how to counter it. The thing with K-Rool is that his recovery is actually pretty bad, because it's very, very vulnerable from the sides. If you try edge guarding it from the top, it's not going to work, but if you edge guard it from the sides, it's going to be very effective. Core, for what it's worth, also doesn't have a particularly great. It's pretty average, all things considered. Relatively hard to intercept because the hitbox covers basically your entire body. However, it doesn't go a super long distance. You can see here, it might not matter. That shield's looking very small. M3 might be looking for a shield break here. That would be a huge swing of momentum very early on. Shield breaks in this game will leave you open for a very long time, and because K-Rool has such high kill power, even at only 66, that would probably be more than enough for M3 to be able to take a stock. Edges it out, trades the forward smash with the attempted down air. One of the more unique down airs in the game. It has multiple hits the entire time it's going down, which off stage makes it an extremely good suicide button to KO both characters at the same time. However, on stage it can make it a bit difficult to punish on shield if you try going for it too early, but it's still generally not that difficult to punish, as I'm pretty showing off. Hits him with the cannonball off stage, and gets edge guarded. As you can see here, M3 actually managing, well, it wasn't quite an edge guard because he was still on stage, still a really good leg interception. Taking Mesh characters first stock, predicts the counter and charges the down smash. However, it gets somewhat countered by the crown setting off instead, so he isn't able to get on it. Gets down thrown, however, keeps on just making great use of that crown. Master characters finding a way to play around it. He'll need to find a way to break through his projectile wall if he wants to take M3's first stock. Corrin is a character whose kill options sort of rely on the opponent being at least somewhat close, or if it is not as close, or at the very least closer than where projectiles will be effective, as we can see here with that downwards angle forward smash. So we're going to take the first stock. Gets caught out by the dash attack. M3 goes for an edge guard, doesn't commit to it though, went high instead. Once again, the forward smash just barely shielded. That move has a sweet spot on the tip of it where it will do more damage the closer it is to the very end. A lot of moves have that in this game, and a generally good way of balancing out moves which have very high kill power and good frame data and range by making it very precise. And as we can see here, the down air, while it can be used as a suicide button, can also accidentally lead to self-destructs like that. And SD for master characters is a huge, already was in M3's favor on this run back to Final Destination. This might be enough for M3 to take the set, or at least the very least this game. Combos the crown into the down smash. Down air shield doesn't find a punish though, barely finds it with the down smash punishing M3's dropped shield, intercepts the forward air, uses cannonball, doesn't approach, sends to stay back, try letting Master of Characters come to him. Master of Characters does have the disadvantage, so M3 could theoretically just stall this out for the next 4 minutes and 12 seconds and win the game off 8% lead. And he, as I say that, he air dodges off stage, and SD coming from M3 as well. Oh, finds the grab, down throws him, buries him. Tries predicting something, however, doesn't quite get it. Takes the crown up close and uses it to bait out a response, which is then caught out by the down smash. M3 Assassin, after barely losing game 1, takes game 2. The set's now 1-1. The next game's going to decide this. It will decide who will be sent down to losers. This is not going to be the typical format of the more round-robin-esque tournaments we've seen thus far. Because this is regionals, this is a proper tournament format, is double elimination, meaning that if a player, there are 2 brackets, and if a player loses in the winner's bracket, they will get sent down to the loser's bracket to play other characters who are sent to the loser's bracket, and once they lose in the loser's bracket, that will lead to them being eliminated from the tournament entirely. So this doesn't necessarily decide who leaves the tournament, but it does decide who has to have a significantly more uphill battle going through losers. Losers has other implications as well. If you make it to someone from losers is going to make it to grand finals. However, that will require that they win 2 sets instead of just 1, seeing as they're coming from losers. So going into this game 3, there's going to be a lot of pressure on both these players to not get sent down that far. Not as much as it would be if this was a losers match itself, but it's still definitely present. It can have a huge impact on the rest of the tournament. using the crown as a sort of combo breaker because its hitbox remains out. Even when K. Rool gets hit, he can use it to essentially punish an opponent for even hitting him because he threw it out and it curves back to him. Use the crown. If it misses, he has to go pick it back up. The opponent can pick the crown up as an item, as it looks like Master characters tried doing that there, didn't commit to it though. The armor preventing a punish on the crown by absorbing that forward air. Because barely misses the dash attack, and that's why he counts with the down throw. Doesn't find any follow-ups off of it. Down 3, once again shields it, unable to find a strong, super strong punish to it. K. Rool's out of shield options are not always the greatest. He does have Nair as I believe his fastest, but it's still not by any means fast, and it is relatively short range. The rest of his moves aren't typically good out of shield. Up special has a very finicky hitbox. Up smash is just generally a very bad move. He just has a very hard time punishing people who do unsafe things with a shield, which is part of the trade-off of being heavy. A lot of heavyweights in this game don't have move out of shield options, and the ones that do are typically significantly better. See here, despite what amounted to an early lead, M3 will lose his stock first to Master of Characters, pulling it back on Hollow Sleep. This is probably going to benefit, I'd say, Corrin, because neither player is going for edge guards, and the only thing that really matters is recovery distance and the ability to intercept at stage. M3 has shown very comfortable intercepting recoveries when they go back on stage, so the presence of those platforms there essentially gives Master of Characters another option to mix up their lane. So instead of having to go back to a completely flat blade where M3 can relatively easily punish them, they can simply go to platform and plan out the next position there. Still in the corner, but not nearly as bad as being knocked off the side with a forward smash. M3 not able to find the stock, having a hard time finishing this out despite K. Rool's abundant kill power, not able to find a good setup into it. Forward smash doesn't have enough range, gets caught up by the forward air from Corrin. Corrin does have the range advantage generally, even though K. Rool is a big body, meaning that his limbs are going to be very large. The disjoint present on Corrin's sword attacks is going to give her a massive advantage in this matchup. But because limbs are part of a character, they have hurt boxes, which are the things that allow you to be hit by attacks. Swords do not have that drawback in this game. They do not have hurt boxes attached to them, meaning that there is a ton of distance where it is pure hitbox and the opponent can't hit you, which is very, very good. Especially against a slower character who, in most matchups, Corrin is not considered to be fast. However, against a heavyweight like this, Corrin just runs circles around them. This game is sort of proving that the ability of a character to move and hit the opponent quickly and safely is going to be a lot more important than things like knockback and kill power. M3 is going to have to get a miracle in order to make this back. He has a huge percent deficit, currently at 104. Even though K. Rool is very heavy and he's probably not quite in kill range yet, he's definitely approaching it. He's going to have to try making this comeback. That being said, he anti-airs the up smash. This is something that K. Rool can do. Hits him with the up air. Goes for another up air, however, gets interrupted by the down air. Currently at 141%. Back throws him off stage, though, has almost max rage. Rage is a comeback mechanic in this game where, depending on how high your percent is, the knockback of your moves will be increased up to a maximum of a 10% increase. And once again, just like in Game 1, Master of Characters calls out the dash attack of the Assassin, and with a counter, that's going to be enough. M3, very high percent. Corrin's counter, incredibly strong. Plus the multiplier from an already strong dash attack, that's going to be more than enough. As Master of Characters moves on and sends M3 Assassin down to loser's bracket.
Step into the ring.
Alright, and for our next set, we're going to be having Kerbo versus Level of Tryhard playing under the Blue Springs Esports tag. This match should begin very shortly. Both these players are in winners currently. Level of Tryhard triumphing over Aruka Yakimura, and Kerbo triumphing over Elijah in round 1. So we'll see which of these players is able to move on to round 3. Alright, and it looks like this is about to begin. Kerbo going to be going the iconic Captain Falcon. Level of Tryhard going to be going Me Brawler. See what moveset they're going to use. This character does have one general moveset that they're encouraged to use, using Shot Put. This may be 1-1-1-1, or they may be using other moves on top of Level of Tryhard. Already moving quite a lot. However, Kerbo picks up a pretty rudimentary combo, taking all the way to 42%. Captain Falcon does deal a lot of damage and can kill the opponent very quickly. However, it does require a level of precision. Looks like he's the exploding psychic. Yep, he's going to be using the traditional brawler moveset. This character is going to generally rely on speed, frame advantage, combos, and kill confirms. And look at his setups. As you can see here, that is the thrust uppercut, or colloquially known as thrupper combo. The down throw into thrust uppercut. That is going to be one of the most stable kill confirms for him. Using that feint jump down special to get his way out of disadvantage, exploding sidekick to recover, and shot put to control neutral. Kerbo was able to throw him off stage. There's one thing this character isn't as good at. It is recovering, as we can see here. Despite the fact that he actually hit Kerbo on his way back, Thrupper just doesn't have enough range on it. Aula predicts the Falcon kick and goes for a punish forward smash, immediately taking Kerbo stock directly after. And here's what the up tilt that isn't safe on hit for a very long time. And once it is, it stops having enough knockback to truly combo. As we can see here, Kerbo able to air dodge through it. Just misses the punish though. Gets punished by these Thruppers. Level of Tryhard taking him to 88% and an almost uninterrupted streak. However, he does armor through it. Misses the up tilt confirmed in the platforms. Speaking of platforms, it leaves Kerbo right in the perfect position to get Thruppered. Interrupts it with, I believe, a Nair. To stop Kerbo's offense, and Thruppers once again. Kerbo, that was a dominant display from Level of Tryhard. Kerbo almost going from 0 to death, barely able to get any hits in between there. Was able to land a few though, mainly using the armor on that Raptor boost. It's going to be one of his most important tools. However, whether or not he's actually going to be able to pull it off is something of a debate. Level of Tryhard does have these platforms. It's going to be very important to him because they allow him to extend his combos far beyond what they would normally be capable of, because he can simply land on them and then repeat. Kerbo just mistimes the whip punish. Not quite enough to kill. Falcon is a pretty heavy character, more than his physique may suggest. He's still able to find a combo for that. Gets interrupted by the forward air. Trying to play around shot put. Punches with the dash attack. Gets an up air follow up. Not enough. Oh, and gets red and just barely avoids. However, once again caught in the lag of feint jump. Level of Tryhard not able to recover back to stage. Thrupper just not giving him enough recovery power to work with. Oh, just barely with that forward smash would have ended the game like instantly. Oh, the late hit of shot put. Kerbo has to try and get backstage. Just barely with a strong forward air. Oh, this could be a huge punish. Kerbo could potentially make good on this if he can get him off stage, and that back air combo breaker from Level of Tryhard is going to be enough to take Kerbo's final stock. First game was Level of Tryhard. That was a very well played set by him. The only problem were those two offstage interactions. Mainly the feint jump one and stock 2 was very, very unfortunate. That probably could have been something that could have been easily avoided if he had just either double jumped or just been more careful with his feint jump placement. However, his kill confirms and combos were on point. His ability and his understanding of how to control the neutral was immaculate. If Kerbo wants to beat Level of Tryhard, he's going to have to take advantage of the short range on that Thrupper and its ease of interruptibility. He's going to have to get him off stage. Falcon generally wants to use combo throws. However, in this situation, he might want to go from a forward throw and back throw, get him off stage, and then use Falcon's good angles on things like forward air and back air to edge guard with. He could go for down air, however, because of Thrupper's hitboxes, I'd imagine that would only really be useful if he was going for Burning sidekick and he had a read on him. That being said, it's not a foolproof strategy. He could simply use Feint Jump, and as we might have seen from the character preview there, Feint Jump's going to be even more something to consider, given that it looks like Kerbo may be counterpicking to Incineroar. This character is the definition of robbery. He is very slow, very strong, similar in a lot of ways to K. Rool. However, what sets him apart is his down special Revenge. It is a counter which, unlike, say, Corrin's counter, which simply retaliates with a big attack, it will absorb the damage of the move and then multiply the damage of K. Rool's next move that he hits you with. You try going for it and they're expecting an offensive punish, however, specifically avoid by delaying. K. Rool also, Incineroar also has a Whirlwind Whip. It is a very good command grab. It is a dash forward, meaning a really good range. Potentially catch me out in neutral and also for recoveries. We can see here, and interrupting it is a very poor idea. However, level of tryhard, playing a lot around the Revenge, simply baiting it out, predicting that Kerbo is going to go for a panic option. However, Kerbo also has Lariat to work with that really has, I believe, either armor and invincibility very fast on startup. So Whirlwind barely catching him out. Despite the fact he's only at 95% and is a decently heavy character, whether it's average brawler, still dies to a Whirlwind Whip with a bit of rage from Incineroar. This character is insanely strong, arguably the most strict adopter of the speed for power trade-off. However, even with all the survivability from his weight, that's not going to be enough to save him from the down air. He normally sends downwards and does have less knockback on grounded opponents. Because of it, however, it's still going to be more than enough knockback to kill him off the top. Kerbo struggling to break his combos here. Level of tryhard doing a very good job at playing around Revenge, and that was brutal. That stock barely lasted 15 seconds. Anti-hits with the up smash, though, finds a forward smash directly after. Despite the fact that Level of tryhard's had some consistently very, very impressive strings of advantage, he still might be at risk to lose this game. Incineroar is the comeback character for a reason. Another Whirlwind Whip, gets him off stage with the Lariat follow-up, tries back throwing him off, whiffs the grab, Level Tryhard punches with a dash attack, tries finding more advantage, Spot Dodge is through the grab attempt, Revenge is on deck, this could potentially be it if he hits a smash attack here. However, Incineroar, if he takes too much damage, that will not wear off. He hits with a late hit Lariat. Not a very good use of Revenge. However, every bit of damage counts. Kerbo is currently at 95. Level of tryhard barely higher. Both these players are in an incredibly precarious situation. Whoever loses this is going to be sent down to losers. Neither one of them wants to face that. Kerbo could potentially get answered here, but Level of tryhard here. Oh, just barely misses the punish. Used a forward tilt instead of a forward smash that might have cost him the game. Kerbo misses the punish. Kerbo does have max rage right now, so any of these hits could potentially be it. Just barely not enough to kill. The shot put uses it, and the back air punish on the cross chop, ending lag. That's going to be it. Kerbo loses the second game of 2-0 as a Level of tryhard moves on in the winner's bracket, and Kerbo is sent tumbling into losers. Alright, so the next set of the day is going to be interesting. As you've seen, we have not moved from Kerbo's arena, and that is because the next match, I believe, is going to be Fordo Sage's Kerbo versus another Fordo Sage student. As we can see here, Sarah Bonita fan. Unfortunately, both of them sent tumbling into losers after their games, and whoever wins this set's going to be able to continue on in their losers run, and whoever loses is going to be knocked out of the tournament. This is the highest stake match we've had so far. This is going to determine the placement of one of the Fordo Sage players. Right, it looks like the set's about to be in. Kerbo once again going to Captain Falcon, and Sarah Bonita fan going Byleth. We have not seen Sarah Bonita fan so far this tournament. However, because he's in losers, it can only be speculated that he didn't do too well in one of his first games. However, that has no bearing on what might happen in this set. Kerbo, as we've seen here, struggled a lot against Level Tryhard. However, since both these players are going to be a bit more close to each other, it's going to be a lot more dynamic. Especially given the character matchups. Byleth is a character who generally wants to keep the opponent away. Very large hitboxes with sweet spots at the tip, similar to the aforementioned core forward smash, except on a ton of her moves. And Captain Falcon is a fast character who wants to get in on the opponent. These characters have two diametrically opposed game plans. It's going to be interesting to see how they play against one another. However, that's not to say they're only going to go for it. As we can see here, Kerbo hitting with the off-stage spike with a down air after sending Sarah off of it with the combo. Sarah trying to go off-stage for an edge guard. Occasionally, Byleth is going to have to approach Captain Falcon, and occasionally Falcon will still have to run away and space around Byleth's options, trying to bait Byleth into doing a slower, more punishable attack. The one thing about Byleth is that Byleth does have the speed disadvantage. This character is not fast, and that's something that Captain Falcon could potentially take huge advantage of with its superior mobility. Byleth also does have better advantage and better recovering. Byleth's recovery is better than Captain Falcon's. Captain Falcon's recovery is one of the weak points. We see if Sarah goes for any edge guards. We think Kerbo is more than comfortable going for them against Byleth. Players exchanging blows. Kerbo gets potentially a fat combo starter off the down air. However, isn't able to get it. Whips the up smash on the air dodge, catches with the dash attack, uses the arrow to cover the get up options. However, it's shielded, not enough time, just not fast enough. The whiff forward touch gets punished by the Falcon kick. Goes for the down smash on ledge, isn't able to find it. Sarah Bonita fan responds with an up throw, trying to get Kerbo in disadvantage and potentially launch him off stage. See him here, might go for an edge guard, goes for the back air, trying to hit the speed spot. However, just misspaced and it lands before he gets the hitbox out. Oh, whiffs the Raptor boost. That could potentially be a huge punish. Sarah trying to use the arrow to snipe Kerbo off stage. That arrow does have a lot of knockback for a projectile, so it could potentially lead to death. Makes it back on the stage safely. Sends Kerbo creating off for himself. Seems to want to use that arrow more than actually going off stage, and Kerbo accidentally SDs, drifting too far to the right while trying to grab the leftwards ledge. Kerbo's going to need, in order to make up for that, he's going to need to finish off the stuff quickly, and that might be difficult. Byleth is very good at keeping the opponent out. Just barely misses several key punishes in a row, gets caught out by the sweet spot of forward air, tries Falcon kicking in, does appear to work, gets him off stage. parries against it, goes for another edge guard, is able to make it safely back, predicts that out, just barely misses the combo of the down air to up air that might have been enough to at the very least get him some good advantage. Oh, gets caught out by the up air and just barely avoids the forward smash. Kerbo a lot more conservative about his edge guards now, tries to knee him off stage, and however, Sarah fades back. Oh, catches him with the Raptor Boost. Is he able to jump out just barely in time? Also gets caught up by the Falcon kick. Sarah at 172%. Kerbo needs to end the stock if he wants to have any chance of winning game 1. That SD has been massively detrimental to him. Falcon kick just barely managed. Sarah Bonita fan is able to air dodge back, and that down air, back air is going to be enough. However, Kerbo has a mountain to climb if he wants to make this back. Hits with the jab. That's a lot of knockback. He does have almost max range, 120%. Now 134. Air dodges off stage. Still has access to all his recovery options. Sarah not going for any edge guards. Dash attacks him off. There, barely avoids it. Oh, catches out the attempted forward smash with the faster grab. Sarah now at 81%. All of a sudden, his lead's looking a lot more small. Now it's Sarah who has to finish this one out quickly. By the forward smash, that's very unsafe on shield. The knee just barely misses. Forward smashes him, forward throws him back off. Tries ledge trapping. Able to back throw him once again. Sarah repeatedly knocked off stage. Kerbo goes for more edge guards, doesn't find a punish against Sarah Bonita fan, and that dash attack's going to be enough. Kerbo almost made the comeback. However, Sarah Bonita fan at the last moment is able to land that YOLO, that Hail Mary dash attacks, able to get it, wins game 1. That was played pretty well by both players. I'd say that one SD from Kerbo was a huge momentum shift. That was the single moment that lost him game 1. If Kerbo hadn't SD'd, he would have won that game. So, in order to somewhat mitigate that, he did play very, very well on his final stock, nearly made the comeback. That is incredibly difficult to do. Again, that was insane to watch. I'm not supposed to be biased, but I was almost hoping Kerbo would make that. But even so, we get what we get. So analysis time. Kerbo, that first stock edge guard was very, very good. That down air off stage was very, very, very good for Kerbo. I'm guessing he's going to want to look for a lot more of those. He'll also want to start looking for more edge guards. Byleth is a character who, while they do have a very, very good recovery, it does go very far, and it can be somewhat hard to intercept. It's not exactly threatening to intercept so long as you're above 50%, below 50%. The way Byleth's up special works is that if it hits the opponent, it acts as a command grab and will latch Byleth to them, and then they'll bounce off. If the opponent is below 50%, it will send them to the side, which is generally not as threatening. But if you are above 50%, all of a sudden it becomes a lot scarier because it can send you downward. However, Captain Falcon does have decent edge guarding, especially given, again, moves like back air, moves like neutral air, which do send at relatively horizontal angles. He went for a lot of knee there. I'm not sure how good of an idea that is. Forward air is known as the Knee of Justice, is the nickname that's been given to it by fans, and for a good reason. The early hitbox of it is extremely powerful and deals a ton of damage, however it's very hard to hit. Kerbo's going for a lot of those, hoping to cheese out some early stocks, however I'm wondering if it could potentially be more to his advantage to go for back airs instead, simply because it's a lot more consistent. And as we saw with the second stock, can potentially just catch people out because of how long it lasts for. It's good hitbox. However, looks like both players are going to be switching. Sarah Bonita going Peach, and Kerbo once again going the green Incineroar. We've already went over Incineroar. However, Peach is a very weird character. She's incredibly technical and difficult when played optimally. However, whether or not Sarah is going to abuse that is going to be up to her. You can see here Peach's main ability is the ability to float. That's a unique ability that only she has. Kerbo has Revenge on deck. Tries getting more of the stack on. It does stack on top of itself, so Revenge is even more dangerous in a scenario like this against a lightweight character like Peach. Barely Carolyn as it gets another revenge. Instant 61% on deck from a single forward air. Almost whiff punishes it. However, Peach is able to get the throw. Peach's edge guarding is understandably very good, but her recovery is very good, and she has a ton of very, very good aerials. Her back air is very good. Her up air is pretty good. Her nair is very good. Her forward air is one of the best forward airs in the game. Because of how strong it is, however, all the strength in the world isn't going to be able to save from the fact that it's slow. And while it does have a good hitbox, it's not a particularly long-ranged one, and Incineroar is going to be able to punish that with forward smash with punish. Turbo once again, sorry, up smash with punish. Goes for another up smash, tries parrying the turnips. That is PPG projectile in his mortal item, meaning that it can be picked up and carried and re-picked up, as you can see here, using it to cover options. However, Turbo at 170%, Sarah not able to find a kill. Tries throwing turnips, keeping Incineroar at bay. Kerbo could potentially manage this. However, as we can see here, one of Incineroar's biggest weaknesses is going to be his recovery. Not good in the slightest. Very easy to edge guard, although a bit scary, and very, very easy to knock him too far away. And if he's missing any of his options, he just isn't able to get back on the stage. Sarah's going to have to play around that because Incineroar is very, very scary on the ground, and that's where the majority of this Mastercard is taking place. If we can find any good edge, he also doesn't want to go for any edge guards against Turbo, potentially be his undoing. Turbo barely avoids it, however, does get caught out by the Darkest Lariat. Turbo really likes using that move as a sort of get-off-me tool because of how fast it is, however, it is still pretty punishable. So if Sarah manages to shield it and be patient in his punishes, potentially success, 4 airs off stage. Peach at 150%, not a heavy character. Incineroar needs to find a KO here. Both characters trade. Turbo potentially in a really bad situation, barely able to make it back to stage. Just barely wins. And the reverse hit of the up smash is going to be able to take it. Turbo, relatively high percent. Jared potentially be able to kill here. Another thing to keep in mind is that Peach's turnips do have an element of RNG to them. The different faces we can see here are different knockbacks. That Wink face has a lot more knockback and damage of the other faces, as was example there, and the one that Sarah's going to be looking out for is going to be the Stitch face. That is a very, very rare option that does 30% and just kills the opponent very, very easily. So he's going to try to play around that, that and turnip RMG along with the rest of his kit. Oh, Kerbo has a lot of revenge on deck. He's trying to get more of it. Goes into the jab instead. As we can see here, takes him to 74%. Just barely misses out on a punish from it. Looks like they both went for a grab at the same time, so it clanked. Oh, catches him out with the Alolan Whip. Gets the Lariat follow-up. Sarah's in a really bad position. Forward air intercepts the back air attempt. Off stage, Kerbo goes for a down air. However, the Parasol from Peach has a very high hitbox above it, so he's not going to be able to find a punish. Oh, wait, is that the counter? And that back air looks like some weird directional influence from Sarah. You can later or earlier. Looks like his DI may have been a bit off on that, but either way, Kerbo takes game 2. It's now 1-1. Whoever loses this set's going to be out of the tournament, whatever place they finish in. Kerbo did a lot better that game. Incineroar is a character who thrives on getting into the opponent's head and basically punishing them for their bad habits. Things like constant offense are going to be countered very, very hard by revenge because it activates almost instantaneously. And if your combos aren't airtight, you can use them to break them, and all of a sudden, he can hit a single hit on you and deal 60%. He also has good buttons in neutral to punish players who overcommit. Oh, you just like pressing buttons like at the opponent in their general direction. Alolan Whip has better range than you and has insane reward, so it's going to be able to punish you for that habit. The character who thrives off of punishing low-level mistakes and forces the opponent to think a lot more. And if they aren't able to play around Incineroar's kit, they're going to have a very tough time. However, it can also be said that Incineroar also suffers a lot when the opponent knows how to deal with him because the counterplay to his tools is, while specific, it's very, very devastating and does make a lot of his tools significantly less threatening. So going into game 3, we're going to see how Sierra Banana Fan is able to take advantage of Incineroar's weaknesses. The main one's going to be the recovery. Playing Peach, a character with very good edge guarding thanks to her great recovery and good long-lasting aerials, he'll want to knock Incineroar off the stage a lot more than he has been so far. Incineroar, as we can see from, I believe it was stock 2 or stock 1, is not very good at recovering, just sometimes doesn't have enough range and has to do very specifically. Yes, it was stock 2. Because of the way that Cross Chop sends him up and then immediately downwards, in order to make it back to stage, he has to use options in a very specific order, so that way the ledge isn't caught in the blind spot of Cross Chop's range. Going into game 3, Sierra Banana Fan is going to counterpick back to the Byleth that we saw in game 1. This could potentially be very difficult for Kerbo. On one hand, Revenge is going to be a lot easier to hit because Byleth's a lot more slow, and being able to actually approach the character is going to be significantly easier because you don't have to worry about them running away as much. On the other hand, Byleth does outrange Incineroar a lot, similar concept to what I mentioned with Corrin in Kerbo's last set, except a lot more, actually no, it was against M3 Assassin. Similar concept to Corrin in M3 Assassin's match, is like a lot more severe given that Incineroar not only has less range than K. Rool it did in M3 set, but Incineroar has a lot more range to work with as Byleth in comparison to Corrin. Gets caught out by the Lariat, goes for the edge guard, doesn't quite get it. Get up shield, that's a very, very good defensive option that only has a single frame or a 60th of a second of vulnerability, just regular ledge get up into shield. And Kerbo looks like he likes doing that quite a lot. Goes for the ledge attack, but making an offensive option. Here, intercepts the neutral there. Forward on shield, relatively safe, especially against Incineroar, who is one of the heavyweights who doesn't necessarily have great out-of-shield options. Sierra trying to find a smash attack. He wants to get this stock off early. He does not want to give Incineroar an opportunity to build up rage, because Incineroar with rage takes an already scary offensive character and just adds a ton of kill power to it. As you can see here, the back throw is going to be enough to kill. Kerbo barely has any rage actually, only at 79.5%. That is almost nothing. So that was a lot of just raw kill power. It's dominating so far. 60% Sierra Banana Fan off of a single lost interaction and a few good reads. Interrupts it and immediately burns it on the forward air. Back airs him into the stage and Sierra Banana Fan misses the tech. Byleth's recovery is not able to go far enough, so instead of simply trying, maybe he'll simply just go off stage. It wasn't worth it. He wasn't going to be able to reach it anyway. And all it does is not waste everyone's time, and it looks like a buffered fast fall forward air from Sierra Banana Fans going to end the set. An unfortunate SD at the very last minute results in Sarah's elimination from the tournament and Kerbo's continued losing run.
Step into the ring.
Alright, and this is going to be the final set of the day, rounding back around to M3 Assassin. I'm going up against Cubed. M3 has managed to, so far, survive his loser's run. He has won one game in the bracket so far after losing his first game to Master of Characters, and now going up against Cubed. We're going to see if he's going to be able to continue this run, or whether or not he'll be eliminated here. Looks like the set's about to start. Alright, and our first game of this final set looks like it's going to be a K-Rool Ditto. We've already explained this character, but for those of you just tuning in, very slow, very strong, has a decent recovery that's hard to edge guard vertically but not horizontally, has good projectiles and a special unique armor mechanic which allows him to go through certain attacks without being flinched. However, because of his slow speed, it is going to be relatively hard for him to make approaches. However, the mirror, it's not going to matter quite as much. See Cubed making better use of the counter than M3 typically does. M3 doesn't usually go for that counter all that much, preferring to simply armor through moves with things like dash attack. And not sure if it appears to be working out for him. Both characters have there's a slight discrepancy. Cubed barely in the lead, and his manage is to also use the reflective properties of that. Is one of the few counters in the game which doubles as a reflector, which will send projectiles back to the opponent. M3 could probably do to make use of that, considering how many projectiles Cube seems to be throwing out here. Looks like he tried to do that. Phases through it with the cannonball, and is finally able to get a dash attack against M3 at 189%. It finally manages to land a kill. Both these characters are very heavy, so killing could potentially be difficult. M3 goes for vertical edge guard against K-Rool's recovery. Not typically the best thing to do. That is very hard to do. It's mainly better to go for that horizontally, go for the side, because it's a lot more vulnerable. Cube did 160% and manages to catch out the extension of the neutral special. That Cannonball has a suction follow-up with the blunderbuss, which is functions as a command grab, which he can then launch either in front of him or behind him. Oh, uses the counter, tries to get it, however gets thrown off stage. Cube simply going for projectile pressure instead of going for any actual edge guarding. Uses the blunderbuss command grab. Once again goes to the crowd, and then uses the forward tilt. M3 struggling to make it back to stage. He's going to have to make this back if he wants to continue on with this game. This could potentially be a problem. Waits for the forward smash to be released and finds a punish in the dash attack. However, the counter is going to cash that up smash attempt, and that's going to be enough to take M3 second stock. Cube has a pretty good lead over him so far. Oh, that's very unsafe on shield. However, M3 fails to find a punish. K-Rool's lackluster out of shield options, failing him once again. Also could have potentially been a bit quicker on that draw. However, was able to bait out the counter and punishes it with a dash attack, which for a counter of his own, tries going for the down air, but once again, K-Rool's recovery is very difficult to hit vertically. Oh, interrupts the cannonball with the crown, however, it gets reflected back into his face. M3 at 71%. Cube only at 118. Not able to finish off Cube's second stock. This could potentially be bad. Using Cube's own trick of using the counter, sort of reflector. Both of them go for a dash attack, however, Cube does it slightly earlier, so he's able to win out. M3 trying to make it back, rolls back to stage. Goes back, uses the crown. Cube uses his own crown. This goes through it, and anti-airs with the up smash. M3's at 121% right now. He does have high rage, however, he's also a very vulnerable target. That forward smash from Cube is going to be enough. M3 loses the first game against Cube. Alright, going into this second game, M3 could definitely use a few more counters. He started taking advantage of Cube's counters near the end of that third stock there. However, it still wasn't enough to get him that first game. K-Rool's counter is like a lot of counters in the game with the added caveat that it can be used as an anti-projectile tool, which is especially useful in this matchup. The main thing about it is that if the opponent is going in mindlessly, it's very, very good. However, the instant they start baiting it out, it becomes a significantly more risky option that isn't typically worth going for. So M3 is mainly going to probably try to use it as an anti-projectile tool. However, Cube's offense wasn't necessarily predictable. At the very least, his ledge trapping was. His simple use of crown followed by blunderbuss followed by blunderbuss command grab was very predictable. However, his actual offense could essentially be boiled down to use projectile and then use them to approach with things like forward air and dash attack. And while they do have generally different counters if you're not going for K-Rool's down special, the counter is going to be able to work effectively against them due to their similar timing. However, it looks like instead we're going to be switching characters, M3 going Bowser and Cube going Terry. Bowser is a character with just gently more general kind of armor, which works basically the same as K-Rool's belly armor, but doesn't have its unique drawback of being a limited resource. With Tony's moves, he also has a lot of invulnerability on certain limbs. However, Terry is a character who has similar, honestly pretty comparable power to heavyweights without really any of the downsides. His main problem, if any, in his mobility is like, again, somewhat lacking similar to heavyweights, and he's not necessarily heavy, but isn't necessarily bad either. His recovery can be exploitable. However, Terry is just overall a very well-rounded character who just so happens to hit like a real. See here, he has a couple unique abilities. He has one here, the Go Meter. Terry is from the traditional fighting game series, Fatal Fury, and as such, his special moves, or at least a few of them, can be inputted with traditional fighting game motions, which is a motion on the movement stick followed by a button input. That Go input allows him to access two Go's, which are his super special moves. One of them, as we saw there, is going to be Power Geyser. That is a massively damaging, massively large disjointed hitbox with a ton of knockback behind it. And the other is a command grab known as Buster Wolf, which zooms him across the entire stage and can be comboed into fairly consistently off things like forward tilt. Terry also is very, very good at whip punishing due to the unique way, just how fast his dashes are. And the fact that, like most traditional fighting game characters, he will always turn to face the opponent, meaning that he can essentially fade back very non-committally and punish the opponent for using an attack. Against a character like Bowser, that's going to be very, very important because of how slow Bowser's attacks are. Tries using the down smash. That move, don't typically see it. Usually forward smash is a better option. However, down smash still has its niche as the somewhat less committal option, albeit still very committal. Terry's also unique in that he does have 5 special moves instead of the usual 4. His forward and back specials are actually different, and they're just the same move, but reverse while doing it. Now with Terry, though, we haven't seen him use it yet. Don't know if we will. He uses Burn Knuckle a lot more. M3 goes for the command grab point. However, he gets caught out by the power dunk. That is a move that's become infamous thanks to its ability to be cancelled into out of jab, which gives Terry's jab some of the best reward of any jab in the game. Despite the fact that it's relatively similar on paper to a ton of other ones. Because Terry can cancel some normals into special moves, however, he's going to have to actually hit with those normals in the first place, and get like the correct confirms off of it because M3 is at almost 200%, and Cube is just having trouble finding the KO. He's looking for raw smash attacks instead of actually confirming into his good kill moves. M3 Bowser, this character is one of the few heavyweights in the cast who isn't really constrained by the traditional weaknesses of the heavyweight class, mainly because he isn't necessarily slow. His frame data can be somewhat sluggish, however, his actual movement speed and physics are actually relatively fast, especially for a character of his stature. So, here we can see here, that was the back special, that was crack shoot, that little flip kick that he did. Don't know if that was intentional, if you're intended to do like a reverse burn knuckle, don't know why it would have, so I'm guessing that was like a pressure option. However, it didn't really pay off. Uses the rising tackle as an anti-air. M3 responding with an aggressive landing, makes it back to stage. M3 does have the percent lead, and Bowser could potentially find a kill here if he gets a smash attack. Just barely avoids a down smash that probably wouldn't have been enough to kill. However, it would have gotten him off stage. It's a very scary place to be as Bowser because his recovery, while usable, isn't exactly ideal. Runs up and uses a command grab, hits him on the platform, and that's going to be it. M3 Assassin is able to take game 2 after initially losing to Cable. That was a pretty good match, all things considered. Cube could definitely work on his confirms, specifically his skill confirms. Terry's a character who thrives off the ability to turn non-committal normals and pokes into extremely powerful kill setups. This is because, like most traditional fighting game characters that aren't Kazuya, he has the ability to cancel the ending frames of his normals into his special moves on hit. So, like, let's say Terry hits you with down tilt. He can cancel, instead while most characters would have to wait for the down tilt to finish, and then use, say, an up special, Terry could just immediately go for that up special. So that gives him the ability to make moves that are seemingly innocuous into incredibly dangerous. But we didn't really see a lot of that, and not using one of the biggest advantages of Terry could potentially spell his downfall here. He might switch back to K. Rool, given the fact that Bowser, the one thing he lacks compared to other heavyweights, is as we can see here, going back to K. Rool, is a dedicated anti-projectile tool. His main tool to avoid projectiles is just moving around them. And for what it's worth, that is something Bowser can do better than basically any other because of his advanced mobility. However, it's still a hindrance. So here, M3 is able to predict it using the platform. Looks like M3 is trying to somewhat stall him out. Wait for K. Rool to approach him because he knows Cube's going to go for the aggressive punishes. Cube's affinity for that counter may potentially not be as good in this matchup, though, because Bowser has that command grab that's very, very good and very fast. Counters don't counter command grabs, they only counter hits. And because of that, if M3 starts getting wise to his countering patterns, that may be enough. However, doesn't catch it that time. Able to counter the forward air. Uses the Bowser Bomb as a landing option. Is able to up air him. I'm trying to give him into a state of advantage. Both M3 has a slight lead, and that up smash is going to be enough to kill. K. Rool may be the second heaviest character in the game, however, Bowser is the heaviest and arguably one of the strongest as well. He has a ton of kill power on a lot of his moves. I don't know of a single one of his moves that isn't capable of killing. Just avoids the up smash. That's typically not a very good anti-air for K. Rool. M3 is able to make sparing use of it when he has a good read on the opponent. However, because it's not that good of a hitbox and very committal, it's not typically a good anti-air. However, that counter, if he has M3's patterns down, M3 going mindlessly like that, he's going to be hit by that counter a lot more than not, which is something he will want to avoid at all costs. M3 trying to push his advantage, trying to find a command grab, tries going on the platform to extend the what is essentially the kill threshold of it, because he can't move while doing it and has similar knockback regardless of how long you go. If you land on the platform, they get that knockback from a position closer to the top of the screen, and that's generally where it's going to kill. Meaning that he essentially forced it to kill earlier than an enemy would, which is the crown in hand, using it, trying to essentially bait Cubed into a bad situation. Oh, he's able to punish it by countering it back at him and picking it back up. No longer has the crown to work with. That follows a similar principle to the aforementioned Peach's turnips. They can be grabbed, they can be thrown, and they can be carried. However, K. Rool doesn't really get that as an option. Only his opponent gets it. It's a sort of nerf to his side special, because unless he's like intercepts it as it's coming back, the opponent's always going to get a chance to, at least a chance to abuse it. He's going to be able to find the second stock. However, his lead isn't too massive, especially if he keeps on getting countered like that. A dash attack, good kill power, good damage. However, that is a recipe for disaster against a counter move, which, like all of them, will increase in power depending on the power of the move it counters. M3 predicting the predictable anti-airs and is able to use a Bowser Bomb, avoids that. Cube's trying to make use of it as an anti-air, but that's really not where up smash is supposed to be used. Barely makes it back to stage, almost SDing. M3 predicts it, tries going for a forward smash, does have max range. It's going to be dealing 10% more knockback, and as I say that back throw is going to be enough to take out 3-second stock. M3 has a very, very good lead though, around 72%, so he has a chance here after losing that game 1 in the K. Rool Ditto. He could potentially take Cube out of the set, and out of the tournament. Cube at 139%, gets caught by the Fire Breath. M3 looking for an opportunity to hit him with a good kill option. Really goes for the edge guard and gets thrown back to an offstage. However, because M3 was at such a low percent, gets forward smash back off. This could potentially be very bad. He has to make it back to stage. Cube tries going for that down smash, isn't able to find it. M3 has to play a lot more patiently here. Just whiffs it, and that's going to be it. That side special Koopa Claw is going to be enough. M3 Assassin is going to be able to survive this route and continue his loser's run while Cubed gets knocked out of the tournament. Alright, I was mistaken. We will have one more set for today, so we will be joining that arena very soon.
Step into the ring.
Alright, and for what I believe, I could be mistaken again, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last set of the day. We're going to be having Kerbo versus Basilisk. Kerbo, instead of going to Captain Falcon's, immediately going to go Incineroar as Basilisk goes Link. This character typically relies on zoning. However, despite what that may initially lead one to believe that he wants to run away the whole game, he still has some very good up-close options, most infamously his Nair. He is extremely fast, is extremely good hitbox, lasts for a long time, is good at edge guarding, and is very, very safe. However, these projectiles aren't going to be as good as they typically are because of Incineroar's Revenge, that is his sort of dedicated anti-projectile tool. It still works on them. It works the same as against projectiles as it does regular physical hits, which means that he can potentially boost his power. However, that only applies when he's able to really get in. Kerbo is going to get him knocked off the top with that up smash very, very early on the stock. Kerbo not able to find a solid opening. Basilisk, however, at 98% just from the straight hits that Kerbo's been able to get. That's what Incineroar does best. That Alolan follow-up to Lariat follow-up to Alolan Whip's going to be enough to take Basilisk first stock. However, Link does have some interesting mechanics of his own. Primarily at 0%, his smash attack and forward smash will have that unique projectile that was not typically that useful. However, it still does have its niche applications. Forward smash once again hits him, using the bomb, the pressure of that bomb. That's a remote detonation bomb that he can use to force Kerbo into disadvantageous positions, and it can be hit around by the rest of his moves. But Kerbo tries finding a punish to it, not able to lariat through quite, or expects a follow-up and tries countering it, however, isn't able to find it. Kerbo loses his second stock, Basilisk at 60%. This could potentially be bad. Hero has to be mindful of that bomb. If any time Basilisk wants to launch him into that and potentially start a combo off of it, or at the very least get some advantage. Instead chooses to knock him off stage. Tries going for spin attack to Cheese, gets forward smashed off stage as a response. Turbo tries edge guarding him, doesn't get caught by it. That could have potentially lost him into a very tricky situation. However, now he finds himself there. Link's edge trapping his ability to keep his opponent on the ledge and not let them get back to stage. The response is going to be immense. Air dodges, has to Alolan Whip back, and the cross chop. Found in the blind spot, just not enough time for Turbo to be able to move off stage. Takes it. Turbo loses the game, first game of the set to Basilisk. That was played very well by Basilisk. Kerbo, he may have found a wall here. The only thing I can really think of that Kerbo could potentially do is start punishing the bomb with Revenge, because when he throws it initially, it does have a very weak hurt box. However, it still can be countered. It's not going to increase his damage a whole lot, but the fact that it simply will stop working may potentially get him to lay off on the bomb pressure and focus more on his traditional projectiles, or simply rushing him down, which is generally going to be a lot more easy for Incineroar to deal with. However, Link is still a very problem matchup. Even if he does get through the wall of projectiles, he has a wall of normals to get through. And while he can predict them and get revenges through it and then just get massive damage, the fact that Link outranges Kerbo in this situation so heavily, the fact that Incineroars can't keep up with Link's hitboxes due to the size of his sword is going to be a problem. Link also, mobility-wise, isn't that fast, but some of his frame data is ridiculous. So even in situations where the both of them are sort of in a mutual scramble, Link's generally going to be able to beat Kerbo out. Going into game 2, this is going to be difficult. Basilisk, as for his gameplay, the only thing I could potentially think of is more successful edge guards, but he already got some very successful ledge traps and may not actually need it. He missed a few instances of spin attack keys, but that's hardly something we relied upon. Going game 2, Kerbo's going to switch to Captain Falcon. Faster, a lot more, actually less kill power now that I think about it than Incineroar does. However, it's going to be able to simply move around these projectiles a lot more effectively than Incineroar ever could. It's able to punish the out-of-shield spin attack even on hit. All Kerbo needs is a single good combo starter to potentially get his offense going. Link isn't the can combo break with things like neutral and spin attack, however, it's not always great out of this. The main thing you have to worry about is bombs, which I believe is frame 1. However, whether or not that's actually going to be a factor is entirely to be determined. Gets caught up by the forward air though. Despite the initial forward advantage, Kerbo does find himself at the percent deficit. Anti-airs, finds the up airs, able to take Kerbo off the top. Kerbo needs to find a way to finish off this stock quickly if he doesn't want to massively fall behind. Oh, goes for the Nair edge guard, gets him, and that's going to be Basilisk's stock. Here you can see here, successful edge guard control, implementing that neutral air into it because of how long it lasts and how relatively easy it is to hit. Tries using it, but gets caught by the forward air with discount on it. Oh, combos the bomb explosion into the spin attack, sending Kerbo off stage. Tries using Boomerang to cover recovery, however, isn't able to get it. Tries using the bomb to cover it once again. It's able to find an air off stage though. Kerbo makes it back. Not able to land a hit on Basilisk so far the stock. Throws it back, has a bomb to work with. Kerbo baits out its detonation, but it's find a pod because it's too far away. Just barely avoids down in the blast zone. Launches the bomb again. That bomb's going to be something taken into consideration, and that forward air is going to be enough. Kerbo loses second stock. Now on match point, Kerbo potentially, Basilisk potentially threatening to throw Kerbo out of the tournament, potentially get disqualified here. Or not disqualified, simply eliminated. The right term to use there. Kerbo just barely makes it back, and SDs in the final moment, a buffered air dodge. Kerbo loses the set 2-0. Basilisk moves on with a loser bracket as Kerbo gets knocked out of the tournament. Alright, and on that somewhat unfortunate note, with Kerbo getting knocked out of the tournament, we're going to have to end off the stream today. All our players did a great job. They all did their best. Make sure to commend them all, give them all a round of applause, and we will see you tomorrow for the winner side of things.